Okay, people, I'm preparing to share. It's going over and there. No problem. I'm learning my craft as I go along. So today I'm celebrating my auntie, ICYLIN Powell, aka TILIN NEMBHARD, the way I know how. Yeah. And then later I have to run some errands. And then I'm thinking about my friend Rastafari Birdless because his brains has gone walking. I've never seen a person so sad as my friend. Anyway, this is what I need to do. I need to make something so I can send it. Oh, shit. So I can send it to my cousin. So I'll send something so she can choose what she wants from that for her remembrance, whatever. I do the writing, they do the editing. See, I'm saluting. So I've written a poem this morning, people. You wouldn't believe it. A little tribute. I don't know if it's a poem or what it is called. So I'm gonna record that. I'm gonna record that. So let me get everything ready. Where is it? So I need to have my phone at a central location because that is gonna be going that's gonna be going to Stacy. So Stacy can do what she will. Okay, so I'm gonna send this poem or tribute or whatever it is you want to call it, or they want to call it. When I was writing it, it was tribute. So I want my phone at a central location to pick me up. So maybe I need to take this out for now. I'm experimenting. So I need to be more here and I need to be more here. Um, so this will be going to Stacy. Um, so she can choose. So we start. This is Mervily Myers, your blogger from Alma Grove, doing my little bit to celebrate the last member of the Mills Nemhard family of my grandparents, Irene, and my grandfather, Charles Henry. ICYLIN Nemhard Powell. Intelligent Auntie ICYLIN Powell. Capitalize the capitals carefully. Years before young women of this era listen to their lived experiences, nominated herself to nurture Nemhard family for her siblings. Everyone is responsible. I'm going to start this again. Oh my God. Yeah, it's practice. It's practice. It must befit my auntie. Tribute to ICYLIN Powell, aka TILIN Nemhard, from Ratty Nemhard, Mervily Ione, Ratty Nemhard Myers Tomlinson, registered down with Ermin. Intelligent Auntie ICYLIN Powell, capitalize the capitals carefully. Years before young women of this era listen to their lived experiences, nominated herself to nurture Nemhard family for her siblings. Everyone is responsible for earning money, for managing bread, for breath of life. Hoarding a few homemade artifacts from our ancestors, we realize our rich resources, determined to deal with destiny, passion, perseverance, preaching about the oppression of our people. When will they wake up? Everyone is not evil. Love is the answer. Live, love, laugh like it's your last moment to live. Auntie ICYLIN Powell, aka TILIN NEMBHARD, you were the longest liver for the Mills NEMBHARD clan. Three of whom were born on the 27th of October, 1918, Ivan Sandeman, 1926, Sylvester, 1923, ICYLIN NEMBHARD Powell. Rest in peace, my favorite auntie. Ratty NEMBHARD has been preaching since my father was stricken with Parkinson's. I'll ensure Stacey Forrester is supported to build on the foundations you laid. Death has a time to steal us away. Death has a time to steal us away. Death has a time to steal us away, to steal us and carry us away. Steal away home. Auntie TILIN has no more time to stay here. Born on the 27th of October, 1933, God called her home on the 3rd of May, 2025. Rest in peace, Auntie TILIN. You've joined all the clans, while Ratty NEMBHARD is here fighting oppression. Steal away home. I have known time to stay here. Rest in peace, Auntie. The broad knows the broad for everything there. Are we that? Right, people. So today I am celebrating Auntie. I'm making some short videos. I've been experimenting. I'm making some short videos so I can send home so Stacey can do watch the rest. I've had to send money for my auntie's funeral, and I'm gonna charge that to housing foremen and all those involved in the systemic discrimination since the death of my mother, Pearline Louise Chambers NEMBHARD, with dementia. I wrote to London Early Years Foundation Senior HR, Dillis Ibsen, on the eve of Mothering Sunday, 2015. I'm depressed and dying slowly of torture. 11 years later, what is happening? Yesterday was the date my first husband, Malachi Myers, 94th birthday. Yes, he's still alive, living in Little London, Westmoreland. He's half Indian. It was his birthday And that was the time I was in the Daily Express. No, not Daily Express. I was in the South London Press. On Balance, a happy ending. And Debbie Gilchrist decided to do what she did yesterday. And the police came and joined her. Oh my God. I'm going to be famous. So as I plug along, I'm just celebrating. Yeah, because I have lots to do. So I've done that. No, that's it. So I'm just reading what I've written and I'm putting things online. So today is Auntie's Day because she'll be buried on the 31st. That's the same date my husband was buried. Not Malachi Myers. Ebenezer Tomlinson. I've been married 2 times, people. I'm just reading what I've written. Yeah. ICYLIN Powell, aka TILIN NEMBHARD, was the last of Irene Mills NEMBHARD and Charles Henry NEMBHARD's 16 children. ICYLIN NEMBHARD Powell was born at Aberdeen, St. Elizabeth, Jamaica, on the 27th of October, 1933. And what is unique about Miss Icy or TILIN NEMBHARD is that she was the last of 3 children born to her parents on the 27th of October. Auntie TILIN spent her formative years answering, growing up in Aberdeen, my glasses need changing, people, with her siblings and parents in the close-knit community that raised and shaped the lives of children for the person they are to become later in life. As the person who made it my duty to play the role I was taught by my father, I am more than privileged to be writing about my auntie in my book, In Honor of Strong Women Everywhere, dedicated to Auntie TILIN NEMBHARD, aka ICYLIN Powell, one of 3 children born repetition to my grandmother, Irene Mills NEMBHARD. It's my time, yeah. Auntie TILIN must be recognized for her contributions to Jamaica's independence and growing capitals as a female entrepreneur who wore many hats in her 91 years on earth. Although very young at the time when Auntie lived in Westmoreland, what I don't know, I would have heard from my father, who was a storyteller, and prided myself on inheriting the foundations on which the legacies were built. It's a fact that Auntie TILIN lived with his brother in Townhead, helping to nurture our growing family. During this time, she found herself a beau or a boyfriend or a young man and was involved in a relationship. I think I'm almost certain it was called Mr. Wilson. I was fortunate to have a lasting relationship in the final years of her life. Thanks to Tina or Odette Stewart, who cared for her. Despite my circumstances, after the death of my mother with dementia, I was able to help Auntie from the little that God blessed me with. I helped Auntie to celebrate her birthday, 90th. After that, It was during this time that I learned so much about my Mills NEMBHARD DNA, because I learned so much about myself from Auntie TILIN. The legacies Auntie and I created, I don't know if it's is or I should have, they have is, for the future generations to build on. I recall the first thing Auntie said to me when we reconciled was, "Ratty, are you preaching yet?" I said, "No, Auntie." But before the conversation ended, I said to Auntie, "You know, I have been preaching all my life, but I did not know." I remember the times we would compare whose nose was broader. Auntie and I shared so much in common, it's uncanny. But our wicked sense of humor. After leaving Westmoreland, Auntie said she stayed with other family members helping to nurture the family. At this point, I must mention Auntie was mother to Derek Forrester. And Derek, I hope I'm not mixing up now. And Derek, where do I reach? And Derek had one daughter who Auntie raised when her father died under tragic circumstances. Stacy has one son, and I'm asking on behalf of my grandparents, the Mills NEMBHARD family, to go back to basics in bringing the family together. My father, especially, must be turning in his grave. I am using the death of my auntie to break the generational curses that have befallen the family from the scissors fall in grandma's eye. Auntie decided after working for others that she wanted to be her own boss. She met her future husband, Mr. Powell, and her ambition and passion to be her own boss materialized into her vision, which became a realistic dream. Auntie was the queen of her own pow business empire when bauxite was king in Jamaica. As an author who started writing when my father, I put ISN, Ivan Sandeman NEMBHARD, was stricken with Parkinson's disease, in the words of Nelson Mandela, the purpose of freedom is to create for others. I will take the accolades for creating the legacies, freeing the future generations of my families from the mental slavery of traumas inflicted on us, especially the females who bore their suffering in silence. I'm taking my auntie's contributions for the nurturing of her brother's family into account to help end the generational curses that are a part of my family from the time the scissors fall. I tell you a repetition. Out of my great grandmother's hand, right into the eyes of my grandmother, that was to impact on future generations of her family. With poor eyesight, although she was not affected. My tribute is a reminder to my family about why the strong women in my family have made the sacrifices for their families and in our times of need abandoned to face systemic discrimination This has been happening from our ancestors who were taken out of Africa to present day when I was not allowed to do more for auntie because after the death of my mother, I was denied my entitlements of earning a living. The second miscarriage of justice when I experienced bereavement and losses. This happened to me after the death of my brother, Byron, during the time when Emily spent his 60th birthday in intensive care and Dustin was dying of cancer, prostate cancer. So Byron died of colon cancer. I think that was linked to my grandfather, mom's father, stomach cancer. But the prostate cancer is on the other side. I know a few uncles of mine, my father's brother, who had prostate cancer. So the prostate cancer came over from that side. And Byron's colon cancer, I expect. I'm no expert, I'm just because granddad died with stomach cancer. Yeah. So I'm going to go back. And Dustin was dying of cancer. And I had the first high blood pressure. I was sent the possession letter by Housing for Women. Because I had gotten back in touch with Auntie and was playing my role in her life, it has fallen on me to take on the responsibilities, ensuring she has a funeral that befits her contributions to the Mills NEMBHARD family. I have to therefore share with the world how if Dr. Abu Ratata did not answer my call, I might have accepted that my life is not worth living and ended it like Caroline Flack. I want the world to know that the generational curse from our ancestors are still impacting on our lives, like how my four parents were sold into slavery. In abandoning me after declaring me mad, I am left to suffer the mental slavery of being a victim like my auntie Anita and countless others who experience mental health issues. The death of auntie, the last of my father's siblings, is my chance to use my writing to share my stories, is of how the mother country is like the cow that gave a bucket of milk and kicked it over. God has kept me despite the ravages of my mental and physical health. So, in honor of Auntie, I will go forward with the help of Dr. Abu, and I must say, Rastafari Bird's Legs. He was here last night. He's sad. He's missing brains. Who is the driving force in why I am still here with my fight for justice? Auntie, I will continue preaching until I die. So, women, hello?
Hello, is this Mervyn?
This is Melville who is calling. You're calling from a private number?
Yes, PC Furlong from Walworth Police Station.
Okay, PC Furlong, it's Melville.
Yes, excellent. I've been trying to get hold of you about this incident with your neighbour.
Is it the recent one or the one before?
I do not know. It is just what they.
Okay. Let me put the reason. Let me put the listen, please. Listen. The reason you're unable to get through to me, somebody cut the cable to the internet, so I had no access to whatever.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you're calling me now. You got through to me. So what is it you need to know or to share?
Okay, so it's about the incident on the 22nd where your neighbours come to your door. I just want to know exactly what's happened because the details are pretty scant, really.
Okay. For me, everything is recorded in various formats. I put in, I can't remember if I reported anything about the 22nd. I'm sure it would have been the 19th. That was the last time. Anyway, everything I write, because of my situation and my condition, it's recorded in various formats. If I put in a report, it would have been detailed, and it is your responsibility to get whatever information there is. You're calling me now. I'm not going to be spending my time over the phone going over what I have already reported. And you know why I'm not prepared to do that? It's because of what happened yesterday by, yeah, because I had to call the police. So these are the names that they should have. You should have gotten this because I made calls and I made updates. So the card number is, this is the information you need to add to whatever. Yeah, card number 2080 slash 28th of May 2025 2479 AS PS Alley, a very rude, ignorant police officer. 2254 AS PC Clark. Yeah, I have some recordings, so you're welcome to share them when the time is right. 1921 ASPC. I don't know if it's DOUBAVE. I can't make out the writing. It's even worse than mine. 2890 ASPC Brown, and then there's a PC 3438. Yeah, you need to check out whatever I've given them information. So you need to make a detailed report of what happened here yesterday. All right. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I don't know what's happened yesterday.
Oh, okay.
What I'm investigating. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm talking about the report that I've been given from basically the 22nd about the threat to a neighbour Debbie made.
But they're acting like because I can't recall 22nd. Anyway, there's so many things been happening. So we need to go back, yeah, to the 5th of May. Let's go back. We need to.
Stop.
Okay.
I'm from the all-in crime team. I'm not someone dealing with the holistic issue, everything that's going on. I get there may be a lot going on.
Oh, okay.
But there's different sets of beliefs, certain things. So I'm dealing with a specific incident. If there is ongoing issues in your area, it needs to be safe neighbour too.
Okay, so let me put on record. The Safer Neighborhood team is supposed to visit me from 2022. Each time appointment made, they have some reason to whatever. So, as was said in court, where District Judge Beecham said she wasn't addressing a certain situation, we now need to take it back. Maybe we need to go back as far as 2017, if that be the case, sir. Okay, what else do you have to say?
I'm not going to deal with something that's back in 2017.
Okay, I'm not telling you what to deal with. I'm just putting something. Sorry, can I speak a little bit, please? Please, can I speak?
I'd let you speak a lot. Okay, if you've got issues with other officers,
okay.
The way they treated you when they were at yesterday.
All right. Before you go any further, can I say something?
I'm trying to get some more detail about this.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so on the 22nd, between just before 5 o'clock, basically, the neighbour came to your door and said she's going to do you in, and her name's Debbie. Okay, is there anything else you can give me for that?
But I have no recollection. All right, maybe you're right, but at this point in time, I'm going through trauma again, preparing for my auntie's funeral. So can you please bear with me? Because whatever happened, I would have written it down, okay? So all right, let's deal with it from whatever you say you have. because there's been lots going on, as I said. You're sticking to one specific incident. So all right, let's deal with your specific incident. What do you say you have on the 22nd?
Apparently, your neighbour Debbie came to your door and said she was going to do you in.
Okay.
And like I say, that's all that's really on. That's all that really says on there.
Okay.
So I just need to know: is there any witnesses to that?
I am saying now that my memory of doing me in has been said on record and it's trending online. I right at this point I can't remember specifically anything happening on the 20, but so much many things have been happening. So I'm not gonna put my neck on the block, but things have been said in that manner about doing me in. It was said on record on the 5th. You said you're doing on the 22nd, and right at this point, I don't have any memory of what happened on the 22nd. The same way I can't go into one of my phone because I can't remember the pin. So that may be me blocking out certain things because it's so traumatic. I don't know. So I'm trying to work with you so we can resolve these issues. Okay. So I'm on your side. So if there's something there that is said happened the 22nd, at this point in time, I can't specifically remember, but I remember things said in that vein on other dates. So let's work this around me. Maybe I've reported it, but it's gone out of my memory. But I know for a fact there is record of things of that similar vein being said on other occasions. So can we work from that point then, sir?
Yeah.
All right.
So if you don't remember it, I'm gonna have sort of a hard time dealing with it. I mean, okay.
No, that now you have to take my situation into consideration in terms of what? That's what I'm saying. When I'm at a more safer place, because if you have that report, it would have been written by me. But then there are people who are saying things and making allegations that I have no knowledge of. So that's why I'm saying to you, let's work together. Because I know something was said in this vein, but I can't recall at this moment that it was the 22nd. But if you said it's the 22nd, but because of what's been said and done before, I'm mindful. What you have to take into consideration is my state of mind at any given time and how I'm affected. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You understand that? And before we go any further, you're doing this report. What's your level of training in terms of dealing with a person with mental and physical issues? Have you got any training in that in terms of reasonable adjustment?
Just what every other police officer has and 15 years worth of experience.
Sorry?
Just what every other police officer has and 15 years worth of experience.
But I know for example, I've worked in the early years sector, and my thing is special educational needs, and there are people working in the sector who wouldn't have any idea about special educational needs. That doesn't take away from whatever. One of your officers came here on the 3rd of January, and I said, "Do you know about the Equality Act?" He said to me, "Not off the top of his head," but later he was recorded threatening me. So I'm just asking to be on the safe side so we can work together from the same shared values, because District Judge Beecham had to get an Equality Act assessor to breach the Equality Act. Okay, can we go on? What else do you want to know from me?
You say you've got mental health issues. What are your mental health issues, Aaron?
I am not going to be discussing this at this point in time, sir.
You asked me, I'll just ask you.
Sir, I will not be discussing my mental health issues at this time because it has been taken out of context and used against me.
You brought it up, that's your
Okay, but I will not be discussing my mental health issues at this time.
Okay, that's fine. Right, so you don't remember the specific incident on the 22nd?
Because that's why I'm saying people are saying.
Can you at least tell me who Debbie is?
Okay, fair enough. Debbie is my neighbor.
And what number?
So we share the same communal door. So she's 16A and I'm 16. And let me put on the record before we go any further. Whatever is happening, I will not hold Debbie responsible because Debbie is not a bad person. It's who used Debbie's vulnerability. I want that on record.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you looking for police to do about that incident?
What am I looking for police to do about the incident?
Are you looking to get Debbie arrested and go to court?
No, no. I don't want Debbie to be arrested. There might be issues for court because of what Debbie has done. I want those who are responsible for putting Debbie, who became a vulnerable person, like I became a vulnerable person, in the situation we are both at. So it's getting help for Debbie. So,
people? Sorry, I mean.
sorry, so who are these people? The Housing Association. The Housing Association.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want me to do about the housing association?
It is not in my remit to tell you. I'm giving you information so you do your job. You ask me who is Debbie. All right. Can you hear her outside?
Yeah.
This is out at the window. Okay. So can you hear? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to do?
I'm thoroughly confused at this point.
All right. What did I just say to you? I want Debbie to get the help she needs. That's what I said to you. So yeah. Wouldn't I be, as a woman who has, as I said, I work in special educational needs, and my whole background is disabilities and the whole works. Yeah. I just said to you, you asked, and I'm saying, I want Debbie to get the help that she needs, because Debbie is a changed person from the Debbie I came here and meet 23 years ago. Yeah? So you're here for yourself. Sorry? Debbie Gilchrist. Yeah, you can hear her out there.
Yeah.
And she does more than that. And her partner also does more than that.
Okay. Have you reported any of that to mental health services or to the housing agency?
Sir, you said you're dealing with certain things. So let me give you the facts so you can deal with your case. Others need to deal with their case, okay? And I appreciate that, okay? So if I come across really, it's because of what's been going on. I want both of us now to work together so I can get the help that I need. Debbie can get the help that I need. I reiterate. Even her partner was one of the nicest bloke until whatever is happening. We need to come together. Yeah? We need to come together to change whatever it is happening. And I have, when I said I have influence to do that, and I'll tell you why I say I have influence to do that. Yeah? Ready to listen? Because this will make it so much easier. I was invited to the launch of a new med for London by Nigel Pierce. I meet in Elim House at some event. So I was at the launch of a new med for London. Sir Mark Rowley signed my book. I have him on record saying whatever. If we take it from there, the influence that I have influence. Yeah. I am willing. I asked to volunteer so I can help rebuild the trust of the BAME community. I'm still ready and willing. My husband has just passed over a year now. I have time on my hands. I can do certain things. Yeah. I'm giving you now the responsibility to work together as a community. I'm going back to Jamaica, but I'm not ready yet. I have some more work here to do. As I repeat, Debbie is not a bad person. Debbie has been in a situation where she needs help. But they are all putting it. I reached a stage too where, as I said, I needed help because, as I said, my physical and mental health deteriorated. But the way they want to put it across that I have no capacity or not like that, that's not the fact. I am putting my neck on the line to say I have 2 sons in Jamaica. I have 6 grandchildren. I want the world to be a better place for my grandchildren. And with your help and your input, just working on just your case, let others do what they need to do. Let's work on your case that you've been given the responsibility for. And I tell you, we can move mountains. Okay? So should we say join a pact on that and help Debbie. Debbie is also born in May, as I am born in May. My former husband was born in May. I don't know her exact date in May. Yeah.
What I'm investigating is essentially the threat. If you're saying you don't want to prosecute, that's fine.
I did not say I do not want to prosecute. There might have to be prosecution. But I am trying to find the best way out for both of us. No, it might come to that. Not at this point. We're working together to see how best to avoid certain things. I did not say, because if there is no help and she continues to be the threat, that she's going to be, maybe the only option is prosecution. I'm trying to find a way around. Yeah?
The issue we've got is, from what I'm saying, there's no witnesses to any of it. What I can do, I can't deal with anything long term in terms of her mental health.
I didn't ask you to deal with her. That's why I said to you.
I deal with criminals. I deal with arresting people, if that's what we.
Okay, so that's your forte. There's enough.
All I can do is I can make a vulnerability report to mental health services and social services, for them to look into Debbie's correct care. So to raise it with them, because we have the mental health service and social services.
Okay.
To look after.
All right. So
you appreciate that, can't you?
I will. But if it's a case that your job is to prosecute, then I'll maybe have to look at prosecution to help redress the balance. So let's put prosecution on there now, sir. You're not going to take that out of my remit.
In terms of prosecution, the issue we've got is she said what she said to you. Are there any witnesses to that?
I might have recordings because I'm a person who records.
You might have recorded. See, this goes back to the other issue. Also, they need to take a statement from you about it, but you're saying you can't even remember the issue.
Sir, you're taking things out of context. There's been so many things happening. And in May alone.
When I said, do you remember what happened on the 22nd? And you said, I don't remember that. That's not out of context.
No, you're hitting, listen, sir. You are hitting on the fact that something happened on the 22nd. There's been so many things happening in May. I'm saying at this point in time, no, you are now trying to use the same sort of, I can't find the words that they have used. You're not going to get away with it, sir. Okay, so let's think about prosecution. I have so many recordings. One went viral that the police actually contacted me to say, was it reported? I've reported so many. In some days, I made 6 call outs. So, all right, we can go back and see when. I can go back into my record and files to see what exactly happened on the 22nd, if that's the case. So we're going to leave it for now. We're not going to rule out that something happened because you want to tell me now I don't remember. Don't play that game with me, sir. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you about the use of narratives and words at this moment, sir. Because you call me at a very vulnerable time where I'm trying to sort my auntie's, get help with my auntie's funeral from here. And the fact that the cable was cut, so I had no internet over how many days, had impacted on that. Okay? So at this time, I'm very vulnerable.
Okay. Tell you what, I'm going to go. If you want to look and see if you can find any recordings.
No, I'm not. It's not going to be. You are going to make some whatever arrangement. Send me an email somehow how I can get back to you, because all I got was a message to say you've been assigned to the case. You've been trying to contact me. So you're going to send something in writing. We've had a conversation on the 29th of the 5th, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you can take the email address, sir. Yeah? You did not send me you sent me a little notice via messaging. So take my email address.
I have sent you a physical letter as well.
Well, I haven't received it yet, sir.
Yes, I know, because snail mail takes...
Okay. So okay. RATTY. No. I did not say RN. RATTY. Dot. NEM. BHARD
Yep.
1956
Yep.
at gmail.com.
Okay, so I've got that and I can add that to report. What I'm going to do at this point in time, I will end the call because I unfortunately have other things to do as well.
Okay.
You look through and see if you can find a recording from the 22nd.
Okay, just send me the email and I'll go from there. Because you're not gonna pin me down to anything to do with the 22nd when at this point in time I have no memory of that. I'm not saying it didn't, but at my vulnerability state, as I said to you, I can't even go into one of my phone because I totally forget the pin. These things happen.
But to clarify, I'm not saying it's out of context. You literally just said to me, I have no memory of the 22nd.
No, you are hearing things that you want to hear. That's why I need you to send me an email. We've had this conversation. I'm gonna check in my records because I said I capture evidence. So then I need you to go back to find out what happened on the 22nd. You don't tell me that, sir. Send me your email. We've had this conversation. Blah 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 blah, and we go from there. Sorry. Okay, I'm not gonna argue with you. I am not gonna argue with you about what I said from what I don't said. Yeah, but don't put certain narratives in it because if you put certain narratives in it, let me tell you, I'll use it against you. Because if you give me one word, I can make that one word into 10, and I can go to a paragraph, and I can end up with a book. And I told you, Sir Mark Rowley signed my book. I'm not accusing you of anything, sir. Miss, I am not accusing you of anything. It's the same way I just named those who came yesterday. I am not. I am not. It's your guilty conscience. It's the same way why when the engineer came yesterday and the cable was cut, she started saying I accused her. I couldn't have accused her. You're doing the same thing, sir. Psychological warfare is happening at this moment. Yes, you please do. I have a lot of you to catch up with from 2017. You have a good day too, sir. Ah. Hey, Papa Jesus. When the saints you can fucking call upon private number, hide behind private number, hide behind all war hit the same way Mimi Owusu does. Yeah? You are come put me down to 22nd of and I can't at this point, as I said, I have a phone, I can't remember the frigging number to go back in. Excuse the French. Yeah, I cannot remember. Yeah, so I'm not. You're not gonna stick me down. So you just get one something, and you're just gonna stick to friggin' 22nd, whatever. And I can't remember. Yeah, when you see when I'm thinking of royal card craft rice, boy. Yeah, but because this is not my remit, I'm not gonna spend another minute. I'm not gonna spend another minute because everything I write and I record. So you just have one. You don't have one day. What about the 19th? That's the focus. Because at this point in time, I can't remember. But if something happened on the 19th, and you're gonna tell me what was said, how do I know you're not friggin' making it up, sir? And come tell me about accused. Let me see if I have anything about the 22nd of May. I can't remember. That doesn't say. Yeah? Yeah? 22nd of May. I don't see anything in my thing about 22nd. Because I said, send me the card. So now I said, send it on my thing. Yeah? No, I can't remember. See? There's nothing in here. So you get something. See the last one? 19th of May. Yeah? Then I had to go to Walworth police station. Yeah. So this is the card for that. 0/740636925. Yeah. There's nothing here about not 22nd of May, idiot boy. About 15 years of experience. So my phone of 15 years of experience. You know what I start? I'm keeping it clean and then me do something. Nothing here about all the thing I have is the 19th. And then this. Yeah? All on my birthday. I can't remember. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing on here about the 22nd. So that's what I'm saying to the idiot boy. Idiot police boy furlong or Furshot. Yeah? See the next one here? Because I keep now saying, please send me whatever. So I have it on my phone. Piss off and go where is that boy. And let me celebrate, auntie. I'm having tension headache because this I tied this. So I'm very sensitive. And then the glass, and I have the here, the extension. Go away, idiot boy. About 15, how much years I experienced. Yeah? If it's gonna be, I'm trying to be nice and help her, and you hear her at the window. Oh, thank you, darling. We need to form a thing, Empress, and do a thing, girl. This was what I bought to wear to a birthday, African. Steeped in actually putting something on record to celebrate my auntie's. She will be buried on the 31st, but knowing me, that's my way of celebrating. So I'll be doing some little shorts so Stacy, my cousin, can have it for part of the funeral. So my auntie was the last one standing of 16 of my grandparents, children, and granddad had another 5. So she lived to be 90, 91. Yeah. So 3 of my grandparents' children were born on the 27th of October, including my father and uncle and auntie. So I'm just doing that. Thank you, my dear. You know what? There's so much happening and so much we can do. And after, yeah, and after what I went through yesterday, it was testing. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing today, darling. So after that, I have to run out, do some other things. And girl, if you see the garden, church will start, you can come get color, look. You have to make sure you wash them good still because, animals or whatever. But, I am here to make the difference. And yesterday was a testing for me, Empress. Understand? So yeah, I do these things. It's part of me. I can't be there for auntie in person. I made sure I send the money for her funeral because her granddaughter was struggling and everything is running. I wrote something now so they can decide what they want to choose. But my cousin said I can do little things. So I wrote a tribute. So I recorded that differently. That's all we can do, sweetie. That's all we can do. Our best is good enough. Yeah. So later on now, me and you need to do some proper link up because I've been invited. There's a case going on the 3rd. I've been invited. I'm volunteering again at Battersea Park on the 4th. I'm reaching out to help Rastafari Birdlegs to find his bird. He's gone missing. And I'm working with Dr. Abu, Galaxy Radio, with his activism thing. So, yeah. And thanks once again for the support. As I say, sometimes I get very sharp, but you need to understand I've been through a lot. And sometimes I have to see everybody as my enemy. But I'm sure you will understand from, the times you have been with me. So, yes, I'm carrying on. So, I dedicate today to that. Later, I might have to go to Peckham. I have to keep on watching the garden because the insects are just destroying and destroying. So I don't know where I reach on this one. So I'm going to reiterate. This part is very important. God has kept me. Thank you, my darling. God has kept me despite the ravages of my mental and physical health. Idiot boy, I will come ask me now about. You said you have mental health. Me and you are going to discuss mental health here. You have tell lie palm about me, so I don't remember this 20 seconds. But honestly, I don't know. There's been so many. Anyway, God has kept me despite the ravages to my mental and physical health. So, in honor of Auntie, I will go forward with the help of Dr. Abu, who is the driving force in why I am still here with my fight for justice. Auntie, I will continue preaching until I die so women are given the respect and support we need, not to be a voiceless, vulnerable victim, but to take a stance and stand up for our I don't know if I finish it. I have so many bits of paper. So I'm just gonna finish it because I can't see it. So maybe I didn't finish it. I'm a bit like that. So I'm just gonna finish off it in my own words. Stand up for our that's 3. That's 4. And I can't see the other bit. So maybe I didn't complete it. So stand up for our rights to be heard and not discriminated against. Okay? Yeah, so that's that. And I think I've done that. So I'm going to end this one here. Look on you two. Nationwide. Don't not thief no right class like all that bank. All bank and damn good reader read it anymore. All banks and building society. We having a fight against them too. Yeah? Yeah? So you come send me your £100 after whatever. That little idiot girl were in there. All right, so I think I've done that. So that's 1. I'm putting them in order, because books gonna come out of these. That's 2. Dr. Abu is coaching me how to be whatever. And that's 4. So that's 1. So I didn't finish this. So I finish it off now. So as I said today, I'm just celebrating my auntie and what this means for me and what it represents. So I did read that tribute. And I'm going to tell you off the top of my head the family from whence auntie came. I've done my ancestry DNA and everything. So I'm just going to tell you off the top of my head more about my family in terms of my siblings. So my father, my auntie is from the Mills NEMBHARD tribe out of Aberdeen, St. Elizabeth. As I said, there were 16 children. For my grandmother, Irene, I think Irene family come out of Manchester side. I said I done the ancestry DNA, I done my family tree. I haven't been there the longest while because of what's been happening, but I got a lot of information. Auntie, grandma buried quite a few of her children, including my father, 2 with Parkinson's. I remember when my auntie Temper, we call her Temper, My auntie was short and fat and black like a taco ram. That's why I thought my grandfather was black. Because I know my grandmother. My grandmother must have been over 6 foot tall. And she was light complexion. So because I am amongst the black. When I say I'm amongst the black NEMBHARD, you must know what I'm talking. And I'm not that dark. But my mother and father's children that were left is 4 dark and 4 lighter. So I'm amongst the lighter. And yet I'm whatever. So actually, my brother told me that my sister who died, they call her Prinky because she could pass as white. And she was taller than him up to the point when she died. So I'm assuming my sister was going to be one of those Amazonian women. I've got some cousins, female cousins, 6 foot tall. If not 6 foot, just under. Massive. But my father was petite, if you know what I mean. And some of the men are like, yeah. So, but I remember specifically my auntie who died. She was fasting. Auntie Temper. I'm trying to remember her name right now. So they all had pet names. She was short and fat and black. So I naturally assume that the blackness in my family came from my grandfather, Charles. Until I got back in contact with Auntie TILIN, who died. And I asked Auntie TILIN and I said, what was grandfather like? And he said, the red-skinned man. But no, the red-skinned man was short. So my grandfather picked up an almost 6 foot woman. And the reason I understand, the same auntie told me years ago, the reason my grandfather married my grandmother was the fact that she was a champion, she was a fighter. My grandmother was blinded in one eye because they came from a family of dressmakers down the line and tailors and all that in my family. So that's why I'm naturally gifted certain things. So I understand that my grandmother could beat off all our because you know the wild man. Hey, my grandfather. Yes, there's so wild people in my family. You know, people. There are some wild men in my family, and then I can tell you stories about the women that are unique on both sides. So I understand Gang, my grandmother, could fight off all the opposition. So my grandfather said, she married too. But auntie told me that granddad was light-skinned man, but he was short. So that's now I know where you have that balance. And that's why I I don't know. My husband is short but I always I just admire tall men. I was showing Rastafari birthdays my husband yesterday, my first husband, Mr. Myers, Malachi Myers. He's in Little London, Jamaica. He's half Indian, so handsome, tall, the whole works. Yesterday was his birthday, he was 94. But then yes, I have some tall uncles, but most of them are short. I remember Uncle Gridley. No, Uncle Gridley was tall. I remember Uncle Dudley. He was just this little short man. So now I realize my grandfather was short, but he wasn't black. He was light. On my mother's side now, you have the tall men and the short women. I thought I had Chinese in me because of my granny's nose and the eyes and everything until I saw. So I knew 2 Bantu tribes, Southern Bantu tribe, Western Bantu tribe. So I went to an event. That's where I meet Mimi Owusu. And Garfield invited to me to be part of his black 100 black horses, whatever. And then somebody showed me a picture of the Bantu tribe, and I could place my grandmother right in there. And then she's short. She has those looking Chinese features. And then my husband's brother told me that he knew my great grandmother, Martha Cooks. So I've done my ancestry DNA, but actually hearing from people who actually knew these people, and my grandmother, Melzy said my grandmother could see. She said before you see, he said before you see my grandmother, you would hear her singing. So now you know where I inherited all these things. Natural talents that I have. And then my parents meet at a wake night singing. So I'm trying to give you a brief history. I'm celebrating Auntie TILIN, but I've sent things along. So this is the celebration of my auntie, and this is all I can do. We're hearty-tighty people, love dress up and nice up, and we have attributes. No matter me here is my strength, man. They drop out when they're ready and go back. I've been having these from before I started period, from I was going, before I started secondary school. I started having them here under my chin from primary school before I started having period. But then you probably wouldn't notice because they were black, and then they fall out and they go back. I thought I would have probably have a beard by now, but no, it's just. But some people are fixated on my little hairs. When Jill came for my husband's funeral, she actually plucked them out and put on makeup on people. I'm not natural. I put on a little because guess what? Tears is like the tears will be coming, so the makeup thingy, I'm not so, but I do try sometimes. You'll see me in some photograph, you don't believe that is me. And yesterday, bird legs came and my nail, it was growing and it was torn from there. He said, you better let me cut it. So he cut it off for me. I've grown my hair, my nails. I have some of them here. Yeah, I've grown nails to here. I just let them go. I don't remember if I ever polished my nail. Sometimes I do because there are times when they were brittle and I got the clear thing. But I'm a natural person. You see me here, I put in my thing because you need to have a different look. And when you're doing certain presentation, I bought this for a party. And that's where I get the idea to celebrate my husband's 100th birthday. So see, I have materials. I bought the machine, say I'm gonna know. Anyway, I can always wrap and do different things with it. I love hats. I love scarves. I go out and I buy cheap things, yes. And you wouldn't know that when I put myself together. So I don't always go for the Yes, I love quality. Like for example, when my son was getting married, I ended up buying five dress before I actually decided this is the one I want. I'm like that. And that's why I go out and I got a new phone. Sometimes it's not, the charge go quickly, and I have other phone because I am not content with just one. I have to have other backup. So you see, if that police officer wasn't being recorded, they say what they cut and splice and do whatever they want to do. That's why Debbie Gilchrist, I'm talking up for her. Forget help. And she's at the window carrying on. Yeah? Like when she kicked the door, they kick the door and it can be heard and everything is me. So that's why some people is gonna get knocked good and proper. So yes, I like my I like to say, for example, I'm going for certain occasion. I want to show that persona. I have a lot of African, yeah, a lot of African clothes. I have Indian attire. And I try to put things together to represent like the Chinese culture, this culture, that culture. But I'm more Jamaican. I'm not going to stay a long time. This is just my little thingy. And I might do another one. Oh, okay. I'm hoping they will be able to do live. So I think I'm going to do this and send it to Stacy as well on here. This is Marvely Myers, your blogger from Alma Grove. On behalf of my siblings and my sons and my extended family, I would like to take this opportunity to salute my auntie, ICYLIN POWELL, aka TILIN NEMBHARD, Miss Icy, the last of my grandmother, Irene Mills NEMBHARD, and my grandfather, Charles Henry NEMBHARD, 16 children, and the 5 other children that my grandfather had that were not mothered by Grandma Irene. I want to use this opportunity as Auntie Tilin was the last one standing to say, in the words of Marcus Garvey, if we as a people do not realize the greatness from which we came, we would, and I should get the exact quote, and I'm not going to get the exact quote, we would not disrespect ourselves. If we as a people realize the greatness from which we came, we would not disrespect ourselves. Something to that vein. And in the words of Nelson Mandela, the purpose of freedom is to create for others. I grew up in a community that raised a child. My auntie Tilin was part of that community, both in St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland. When she lived with her brother, Ivan Sandyman Nemhard, at Townhead, to take care of my father's and mother's growing children. I don't know how my mother did it. When I heard Mom's story, it was like, wow. That's what inspired me to write my book. Hi, sweetie pie. That was what inspired me to write my book in honor of strong women everywhere. Because people, I'm going to be honest and say, we have some things in us that we do consciously or subconsciously because of the way we are programmed. Sometimes it's brainwashing. Sometimes it's lack of knowledge. Yeah. But I'm telling you, when I heard Mom's story in the January of 2014, because in the January of 2014, I was like, no, how could a person be able to survive all my mom's been through? My mom made sacrifices at her own, the expense to her own emotional health and well-being. My mom was one of the strongest person. But then when you look at it on both sides, the female in my generation, mom's mom, my granny, died of a broken heart because they murdered her son. So in 1976, no, my son was born 76. Yes, in 1976, my uncle was murdered, Uncle Dudley. And then in 1978, that's my father's side. And then in 1978, my uncle was murdered on my mother's side. I want to tell people, yeah, the focus is on anti-killing. But unless you know the story of my family, I would not do anti-killing justice if I did not give you an understanding of who Auntie TILIN was. Auntie TILIN told me that she went around to her family taking care of her nieces and nephews. So at one stage she was at Westmoreland, in Westmoreland. At one stage she was in Clarendon. I had 4 uncles at one time living in Clarendon. Sandy Bay too live. My uncle had his own church. My uncle was money man, poultry farming. On my mother's side, my grandparents, great grandparents were land barons. I know my history. Yeah. My father was a storyteller. And so are all my family. Because when I done a pilgrimage to go to St. Anne, St. Dacre, St. Anne to meet my auntie, Auntie Marty, I heard so much more about my family. But you see, Auntie Tilin, she's the one. And especially since we got back together. So I celebrated her 90th birthday. I learned so much. And it's only since Auntie died that I realized that I was told that Auntie was a crybaby, just like me. I remember the times Auntie would come Ratty, make we see which one of us knows brother. So it was that rapport I had with Auntie in the end. And that was what helped me got over some of what was done to me. And I know I could never cross. But what is of importance for the world to understand is how we have to take courage. And you know, when I got back in touch with Auntie, and one of the first things Auntie asked me was, Ratty, are you preaching yet? I said that on another thing. But I'm making these so Stacy can have variety, cut and paste and do whatever to tell the story of her grandmother. Because Stacy never know anybody else. And Auntie Tilin. I'm sending stuff to her now and she's asking me, who is that? Yeah. I remember I started the family reunion for my 50th because I grew up like that. Family is very important to me. I started the family reunion the year of my 50th. That was the year I had the first nervous breakdown. That is the year I graduated from university. That was the year I lost my job. So many things. Yeah. But still, I persevered and I celebrated with a family reunion. And then bringing people together, meet Auntie and Cousin Myrna. Cousin Myrna has since died. They found her in her house. Cousin Myrna is from Linstead, St. Catherine. Yeah. Cousin Myrna was the gatekeeper for storytelling as well. It's sad how, we end. But I am hoping that the family can get back together and know who they are. So we're not seeing our own family and not being able to celebrate their achievements. Because when I sent the picture to Stacy and she was like, so who is that? And I'm saying, that was Auntie Marty, Evelyn. Yeah. I met Auntie Hartins in 2014 as well. She lived in Canada. So I remember I attended a funeral for a teacher who settled in our area, Mr. Irving Green. And I attended that funeral that day. Then I went from there, spent some time in St. Catherine with my auntie, no, Auntie Melly. She since died, well, or died. And then Myrna came over and we had a jolly good time. And, you know, I am the one who, whenever I go home, I make sure we all over all the place linking up. I am the one who always capture evidence. I always had a camera, even before I'm so professional now. I remember some of the pictures I posted, you couldn't even see them. So I am taking back my word. And in celebrating Auntie Tilin, I'm celebrating the entire Mills NEMBHARD family. So the world can understand, as a close-knit family, we have lost something along the way. I am going to keep it positive, but at the end of the day, I will have some home truths to be told. Let's put Auntie Tilin to rest in peace, as she deserves. But then I'm going to take it on myself. As the person who the baton was passed on to from my father to Ashta Serena Urella NEMBHARD. Ashta go and make sure he discovered the family. So that we are not acting and behaving. We are not acting and behaving as we are behaving. Strangers passing in the night. Yeah? I have no compunction in saying. From I linked up with Auntie TILIN, I've reached out to my family and I said, Auntie TILIN needs support. As I said, I'm keeping it positive. But what you, my family, allowed to happen to Auntie TILIN, you're not going to get away with it. I'll be addressing this at a later date. Look into your life and see how you live. Leave Babylon and come. My family, leave Babylon. Babylonian, leave Babylon. Leave Babylon and come. Yeah? Don't wait until after the person is dead. You try to give them the accolades. Yes? Give them their whatever whilst they're still alive. Auntie should not be in need in Jamaica because of her achievement. But people decide to deprive Auntie of what was rightfully hers. Renters in her house. What if there was not a young lady? I'm not going to answer that now. You will get the answer at another time. Auntie TILIN died at a ripe old age of 91. Auntie was hardly sick. The precious name of God be praised. You can get more later, okay? I'm just trying to, she died of natural causes. Later on, maybe a couple of months, like my husband, Auntie was never sick. So was my husband until 3 months before he joined. Certain people are blessed like that. So I'll address that for now, okay? So yes, we need to get back. Oh yes. Auntie TILIN was an entrepreneur in Jamaica. When Backside was king, Auntie used to run her own business, POWELL. So she used to cook. She had shops, she and her husband. Aberdeen, no, they were out of Aberdeen, Goshen, St. Elizabeth. So Mr. Powell used to do peanut farm and blah, blah, blah. And Auntie used to run her shop, her business. But in the end, what they did to Auntie wasn't nice. Yeah, there are mean people out there. So in the end, Auntie had a little bit of suffering. I'll address that at a later state, okay? Seem as if you don't hear about scammers. I'm looking, you know. I'm looking. I am looking. I am looking. Okay. So I'm gonna wrap up now and say, oh, you're in St. Lucia. Oh, we need to link. I'm gonna be setting up something so us women can come together and tell our stories. Okay. So thank you for coming, dropping by. All right. There's been lots happening my St. Lucia. I'm trying to know if I know actually any physical person from St. Lucia. I might. Because as you see me, I'm all over the place. And so I'm going to check out who I know from St. Lucia. Probably. Anyway, I'm trying to set up a platform where especially women can come together and share our stories. Because my mother wasn't a talker and she got blamed for a lot of things that she couldn't have otherwise. All right? So that's a promise. Keep tuned in, all right? And thanks. So yes, I want Auntie to be given the send off that she deserves. I've played my part, but there are others in the family who could have done better, and you did not. Shame, shame, shame on you. I will not be calling names individually. Shame, shame, shame on you, who from I reached out to say we need to come together to support Auntie. You didn't. And even in death, you failed to respond. Stacy set up a WhatsApp group and I put your information in there. What have you done? Irvin Julius NEMBHARD, I hold you responsible. You want to be leader of the NEMBHARD family. In your thingy online, you say you do pedagogy. You're from a close-knit family. Now that close-knit family has been unraveled. Can you get it back together? Yeah? Miss Connie used to knit. Indy can knit. Can we knit this close-knit family back together? Irvin Julius Emston. You need to go and deal with the traumas. You need to go and deal with the traumas, Irvin Julius Emston. Why I stood up yesterday. I stood up yesterday after I discovered my cable was cut. I stood up to Debbie Gilchrist, who needs help. She was in my face that at one time her finger touched mine because she's recording and I am recording. I have no problem with Debbie Gilchrist staying at our window shouting and carrying on. But when Debbie Gilchrist comes down the stairs and in my face and police is coming to do what they're doing, then you know. So then I go back and saying why I'm Magnum Moses now celebrating Auntie. As I mentioned before, too many have been lost. I was pregnant with my first son when my uncle, Dudley, was murdered in St. Catherine, in Clarendon, Green Bottom. Yeah? Chop up in his yard. 1978, each time I heard the news over the radio. On a Sunday, my uncle was chopped up in his yard for his own rights. That's why I stand firm. 1978, trauma. My uncle Tira was murdered Marchpen Road for his job, chairman of the cooperative. I'm doing this to give Auntie a send off. It's a tension headache because I just, yeah. How many more will die? That's why I stand my ground. Yesterday more than all. And I was in that policeman's face. I said, see it here. Fucking see my name here. Because you're going to say you have 3 names for me. And I showed you the paper. I showed your colleagues the paper. And you come, Asian coolie boy. Yeah? Auntie had 1 son. 1 child, Derek Forrester. I never know Derek in person, but there were always pictures. The picture I remember of Derek is him sitting on a fence and he has his hat on his head and he has it on. That's the picture I have of Derek. But what happened to Derek? He was murdered in Kingston by the police. And then I touch on the register who was taken from his bed and murdered. We're doing this for me as well as Auntie. Yeah? Right. So I'll have to close this. Yeah? But I'll carry on. I need to clean off all my phones, people. I have to write my things down now because, right. Oh, Lord. Right. I'm just going to record this and then, okay. So I think there's enough there. Yeah. I'm going to end. Can't use camera. All my things in clean. I'm going to end by saying, we as women, Miss St. Lucian, we as women must come together. Don't let them silence us. Don't let them silence us. Police come in here, malicious report to section me that I wrote on Facebook. I'm feeling suicidal. We all know where this came from. I had 18 Facebook pages I managed because when they take this, I create this and everything. Gone, disabled. I know what social media is. I know what social media is. You go back to the biblical times. And you go back to those who sold us into slavery and packed our great-grandparents, our foreparents, like sardine in the tin, the Middle Passage. What are they doing now? Exactly what was done in Africa. So they put the black people in possession. So we can't say. See, they can't process my renewal payment because, of course, again, it's nationwide. You're just sending me about giving me £100. May I come back a nationwide? Every time my bills are to be paid nationwide, block it. I'm coming back there nationwide, but I'm waiting until me clean up my phone again. I'm coming, and if you think me I close my account, you make a sad mistake. Yeah? So I have to go, so those are the things. So that's why I have no little idiot police boy named Furlong now going to tell me, say, tell me what I said from what I didn't say. Yeah? How many times? Yeah? When you come in here, I can't record. And yesterday, idiot police boy come tell me can be on social media. There's a community order. Take that and stick up your mama. Me I celebrate my auntie. And who I am, my identity. Say, I know who I am. And I know you're looking for. But honor doesn't live here anymore. 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 But honor. Yeah, I've been writing. I wrote a song and I sung it at Miss Connie's funeral for this first time in front of a crowd. I never do anything alone because of my trauma. All I had at the time was my friend, Miss Connie's daughter, standing beside me. But all Joy could do was stand beside me because Joy stammer. Yeah. So we had our deficits. That was the last time I was in the presence of Michael's, my son's daughter. So Michael has since lost his daughter. So the daughter lost her son. Now, tragically, and now Michael lost Marie, diabetes complication. So I'm going to read something that Michael has written as part of me reaching out yesterday. Yeah. You see? And they're blocking me out. But I am not into that business for now. All right. So I need to read this because that's part of the St. Elizabeth. So this is what Michael wrote yesterday for me after I called him. I don't know if he's done his hip replacement yet, but he was saying about the pains and everything. I soon do it nothing. So I need to check if it's your proper. But that's another thing. Yeah. I'll soon do it not. Yeah. Oh shit. So you won't be able to see it, but this is what after I reached out yesterday. So he reposted a picture of my son, Valdin Legister, and my grandson and Edmund Bartlett at my grandson's graduation from primary school to high school. My grandson got a scholarship to Monroe College. He was the valedictorian. So he sent me back something was edited that I sent to him because that was the last time I was in Jamaica. No, last time I was in Jamaica was for Miss Connie's funeral. That was a few days after my mom's funeral. I am Alvary Michael Legister, retired warrant officer, class 2, OD, the Jamaica Defense Force. I am writing to introduce Merville Myers Tomlinson, a former infant school teacher from Townhead District in Westmoreland, Jamaica. Merville is the mother of my son, Valdin Legister, and Valdin's elder brother, Kevin Murray. Her 2 sons were raised by her to become leaders call me upon the one other one, to become leaders in their communities. With Kevin serving his community as the elected JLP councillor, he was, take the seat that my brother also represented. Now them doing what them doing. Andrew Holiness and JLP is responsible for what is happening in Westmoreland. And Valdin as vice principal for the Charlemont High School in Linstead, Jamaica. Merville migrated to England, where she has been living since she left Jamaica. She has survived 2 husbands and is now living as a widow in England. So when he said survive, my first husband is still alive, but we divorced, and my second husband died. So yesterday, my first husband was 94. My second husband lived to be 101 and 1 month. Yeah? So that's Mr. Legislator, because I've been reaching out. So I'm waiting for Mr. Nachi now. Yeah? Send back how he's busy. So I'm gonna sing this, and then I'm gonna end the tribute I wrote for my husband. So when some little idiot PC boy I come call me, tell me what him have and what him don't have. Stop cut and slice and put words in my mouth. Because I might have to address you. Because what they don't know. God let them call when I'm recording so it's captured. Come tell me if me or whatever. So I'm going to start the chorus because I might not sing the chorus at every interval. Only somewhere around the throne of God. Only somewhere around the throne of God. We'll keep searching and searching until we find him only somewhere around God's throne. Say, I know who I am, and I know you're looking for, but honor doesn't live here anymore. Honor is somewhere around the throne of God. We'll keep searching and searching until we find him. Honor is somewhere around God's throne. I said, I'm not singing the chorus. We went to Wilson Road, where Anna made his comeback. Iris was standing with a smile on her face. She said, I know who you are, and I know you're looking for, but Anna doesn't live here anymore. Arnold doesn't live here anymore. Arnold fell in love with Merville and lived at Alma Grove, where he spent his final 22 years in Bermondsey, South London. He was known for his generosity and love of gardening by his neighbors and many friends. You see out there, the last plant was uprooted. I had it on camera on the 5th of May. Some little idiot police boy come tell me about what he's dealing with or not. He's not dealing with it. Up yours, mate. When discrimination took its toll on Merville Myers, Arnold the Superman was always in charge. keeping his family on track when the going got rough in the last 10 years of his life. We were swept along by hate. We were swept along by hate. Today, as Arnold's family and friends gather here to celebrate his life, we are proud to sing of a life well lived. There is no doubt in Merville's mind that Iris Myers Tomlinson has welcomed Arnold to heaven. To heaven. Let us join hands and hearts and sing in harmony as we celebrate Arnold Ebenezer Tomlinson's 101 years on this earth, because I know who I am, and I know who you're looking for. If I had time, I could write something for Auntie like this, But what they've done to me, I can only do my best. Arnold is around at this run. Because I know who I am, and I know you're looking for. Arnold is somewhere. Arnold is around God's throne. There is no need to keep searching. We know where Arnold is. Arnold is somewhere around the throne of God. Arnold is somewhere around the throne of God. No need to search. Arnold is resting in the arms of strong deliverance, the same way my Auntie TILIN is resting. I can sing, I can write, I can do things. Who the F are you? Come tell me about means what and means what and when means what. Peace and tail police boy, go where? Peace and tail police boy, go where? I am celebrating my aunties today. It's my time to celebrate. 11 years after the death of my mother, I wrote to the reception. I'm depressed. I'm dying slowly of torture. What has happened since? You see? Tension. I can't. Too much something. You see? Because me put on the hair and then tie my head. I'm having a tension a bit. Because the thing is racing on me. I'm very sensitive and delicate. No idiot boy that come and ask me about my mental health. Go away, dirty boy. Don't let me have to get into one. I'm celebrating my auntie. Okay, I'll get back in touch with you soon. Don't worry about that. So I'm gonna do my poem collection and then that's it. Just some. I did submit a book of poems. They didn't want it. They weren't interested, but now they're interested. Me and Dr. Abu is gonna work on them. I am angry. I am angry, but I'm fighting back because of my anger. I am angry because of discrimination. That's why. The discrimination that allowed me to be abused. That's why. And my rights to be taken. I'm angry. That's why. So now it's my turn to fight back with my Fight for Justice campaign. Fight back with my empowerment to get justice. The power of my knowledge gained through resilience of strength. From studies, research, and the great philosophers and experts. When philosopher George Santayana states, those who do not remember the past are doomed to repeat it, like my neighbor. Sick. We look no further than the Modern Slavery Act 2015, going way back to the Slavery Act of 1807. If I don't write this down, I can't do it. I can do things off the top of my head, but once it's out, it's gone. Then I know for a fact that I must do my writing. To make Dr. Yvonne Thompson CBE words, until the lion learns to write, the hunter will always tell the story. Will have to be another of my mantra of change. For I am a writer and an author, sharing my experiences via my stories. Some little idiot police boy come tell me community order, social media, I can't be recording. But stick that up your mama, boy. White racist dirty boy, go stick that up your mama again. For I am a writer and an author, sharing my experiences via my stories because of my defensive practice. I am creating legacies. In the words of the Daily Express columnist, Tech Don't Lie, and I have the proof to expose the injustices. Now I will use the tools of social media to stem the anger. Thanks to Facebook for the memories. I am a strong, empowered Black woman who is in therapy. I will not be the voiceless, vulnerable victim. I am healing in dignity. That's why if Debbie Gilchrist come back to my door, come molest me, she take what's coming to her. You see your mom reaching out to get her the help she needs, and nobody wants to act. Dedication to women. For strong women everywhere, I am woman. I am living in hope that I will be resilient enough to gain the tenacity of courage to use perseverance of bravery for the healing via my newfound acceptance of self and wisdom, using the growth of my empowerment in the discovery of my endurance of overcoming my weaknesses with my strength of forgiveness. As I continue on my journey of becoming that strong woman in honor of strong women everywhere. There's my book, of course. I offered one. I offered a copy to District Judge Sarah Elizabeth Beecham on the 7th of March. My husband's birthday was the 8th. International Women's Day was the 8th. Stuck up white bitch. You're going to get stuck up with me pen, dirty girl. Edited. Without hope, there is no courage. And without growth, there is no strength to build up the tenacity. That tenacity from bravery. That's why I can't stand up at my door. That's why I can't challenge Debbie Gilchrist. That's why I can't wait until she kick me door and me land her the bucket of water. And me make sure that the water is clean, it comes from the top. Because she needs to be taught a lesson. Because she's sick. And they are all in denial. I am gaining wisdom from my empowerment. As the discovery of healing is central to forgiveness for acceptance. That's why I'm stretching out the olive branch, doing what I'm doing to celebrate my auntie's going home. so that we can once more unite as a family. I owe none of them not. I owe none of my family not. As the discovery of healing is central to forgiveness for acceptance. I've accepted me. From I accepted my big broad nose. From I accepted my deficits and limitations and said no more children. From I accepted rejection. I know who I am. No, I'm not. That is not in the poem, I can just tell you my experience. I need to hurry up and take this off. You see why I have to be natural? I'm very sensitive. Because I put on extensions and then I have to it's not tight, but just the mere resting. See, it's not tight. These little things affect me. And they call idiot police boy I come talk about. Who want to tell me about your mental health. I like you call me for idiot boy. And you call me about something that I don't even know about. Now come tell me you don't remember. Go effing get the one that is relevant. There's one trending out there. Endurance is another key skill for overcoming injustices. So I hope you understand about the injustice now, Miss whatever. Perseverance of hope, courage, and bravery is important for the healing of discovery. I promise God to stop curse. But because of what's happening, sometimes I have to go into the cursing. Because if I don't curse, I might have to go join my Sam Club. Of how the strong women I am honoring and is desirous of emulating persevere with acceptance of wisdom to be strong in this face of adversities, challenges, and even social injustices and inequalities, which make our life so much harder. But giving up was never an option because strong women everywhere, because strong women have to be there to pick up the pieces at the expense of our own survival as we give of our best. But I still have to put on record that I reached rock bottom. And when I called everybody, nobody answered. The only person who answered was Dr. Abu Ratata. And he instructed me. And when I woke up the next morning, there was a video ready. Do you understand why I love him? Pure spiritual love I have for Dr. Abu at this time. What's my purpose? I know I was born for a purpose, but as yet I am searching to find in my purpose. If you are insisting it's on the 22nd and I have nothing on the 22nd, then it's your good luck, darling. I'll read over again. Idiot boy furlong. Who dirty idiot boy furlong. I know I was born for a purpose, but as yet I am searching to find in my purpose. I am not sure of my purpose, but I am responsible for choosing my destiny to fulfill my purpose. I am still unsure of my purpose. I'm no longer unsure. When this was written, I was. I have been waiting for guidance to help my decisions, but it's a long time coming. But still, I'm waiting to find out what's my calling. Should I wait for divine intervention or take the initiatives, deciding my next moves towards my transitions? I am waiting for my purpose to be revealed. Or I might take the lead and decide the purpose that best suits my destiny. I am a writer, author, or I'll add poet. I am not a victim. I am fighting the systems. They want another victim. But I am not representing that scheme. I won't be a victim. I am not a victim. I have a fight for justice system.